most powerful fusion of Dragon Ball will return in the next saga of Dragon Ball Super, finally leaving the movies and appearing now in the series. Even though Gogeta is canonical, he never appeared in the anime or the manga of Dragon Ball Super, only appearing in Dragon Ball Super Broly. However, all of this is about to change, because Gogeta's appearance in the manga is inevitable in Dragon Ball Super, and I'm gonna break everything down for you here. Before I get into anything, don't forget to leave a like on the video, and leave a comment below who your favorite character in Dragon Ball Super is. So to begin with, currently in the Dragon Ball Super manga, we're about halfway through the superhero movie being adapted. And with that, we did have some additions of things, and one of them was a flashback to Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now these flashbacks show Broly's fight with Goku and Vegeta, which is interesting, and it brings back the events of Broly to the current saga, since there were people who thought the Dragon Ball Super superhero was actually after the Moro saga and before the Granola saga. And I watched a couple other videos where they mentioned that, but it didn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense at all, since Pan is more grown up and Goten and Trunks are too. It was really nice to see these flashbacks. Besides, we also saw that Broly did not use his Ikari form in the fight against Goku and Vegeta, which could indicate that the Ikari form does not exist in the manga. This would be pretty strange, and it would kind of defeat quite a few theories I've come up with, but I don't want to give up, so I could say that it might have just been a mistake that went unnoticed by Toyotaro. All of that to say that Gogeta is going to be shown in the manga pretty soon. And now talking about Gogeta's powers, we have something pretty cool, because Gogeta, according to Dragon Ball Super, is more powerful than the God of Destruction Beerus. Yes, this is canonical, and it appeared in the manga of Dragon Ball Super in the Goku Black Saga. Now Gogeta himself, like I said, has not appeared in the manga yet. But when Goku and Vegeta did the Vegito fusion, it turns out that Shin said that Vegeta was more powerful than Beerus. And as we know, Shin is millions of years old and has seen Beerus in several fights, and that's why he should know what he's talking about. Besides, the author wouldn't put a line in there like this if it wasn't to convey something to the reader. And let's remember that this was in the Black Saga. So the powers of both Vegito and Gogeta grew a lot in that time, even more so Gogeta, where his power does not depend on the earrings, and with that, he manages to evolve in battle much differently than Vegito, who simply is using the total energy of the Potara earrings. And once they use all the energy, the fusion dissolves just like it did in the fight against Zamasu. So Gogeta really has the advantage. Now he is more powerful than Beerus, and it's evident when we think of Gogeta with something like the Ultra Instinct or the Ultra Ego. And this is possible since the fusion takes the best of the two warriors. And we saw in the fight against Broly that Gogeta only needed the Super Saiyan 1. He was really toying around with Broly, and we saw that in the Super Saiyan Blue with the same scene. And there are still people who think that Broly is close to the level of the Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. No, not even in a dream does Broly come close to that power. It is simply overwhelming, and as mentioned here, he could even end Beerus, because Gogeta could use the Super Saiyan Blue with the natural Ultra Instinct, and that's something that Beerus has not mastered himself very well, and because of that, Gogeta would have the advantage in terms of technique. And this is already so interesting to think about it, and it becomes even more interesting when we take into account Goku and Vegeta, because if you consider that Gogeta is more powerful than Beerus, that means Goku and Vegeta would have to overcome Gogeta himself, which is pretty far out there. Not that Goku has not already defeated a fusion, like in the case of Kefla, where Goku defeated her with the Ultra Instinct Omen, but it's worth remembering that in the manga, the one who defeated Kefla was actually Gohan, and it was also explained that Kefla's power in the manga was reduced because of Caulifla and Kale's compatibility being uncertain. It was kind of strange, but we still have to give credit to Gohan, who achieved this feat and managed to put some shame to her. The only reason Kefla was so powerful is because of Kale. Because as you know, Kale has that mutant power just like Broly does. And one of the things that intrigued me the most in Dragon Ball Super Broly was the fact that Gogeta and Broly literally break the dimension. They cross over it and shatter it, which was complete nonsense, and it just shows the power of Gogeta and all the control he has with his ki. It really was insane, and we have to remember too that Broly had put all of his power in. So when the two powers of Broly full power at that time and Gogeta clashed, it broke dimensions. Now Vegito, for example, would not have been able to beat Broly like this because of the energy of the Potara earrings. Unlike Gogeta, who even with his final Kamehameha was still very good without appearing to spend any energy. In fact, it was insane and shows that the fusion Gogeta really does have the advantage and will be the main fusion of Goku and Vegeta moving forward. This is pretty cool because Vegito appeared as the main fusion, and then we also had Gotenks, but the main fusion of Dragon Ball was still Vegito. But with this fusion, some questions arise, like there would be times where Goku and Vegeta wouldn't have access to the Potara earrings, and therefore the Metamoro fusion would be the most viable option. And this is exactly what happened in Broly. In the future, we should actually see a fight between Gogeta and Beerus, which will be definitely pretty crazy, and we should finally see the most powerful of Universe 7. We know that Frieza is the most powerful of Universe 7 among mortals, and that's among mortals, so it is excluding Whis and Beerus. But returning to Gogeta now with divine techniques, I think that Gogeta would be more suited to use the Ultra Instinct, but could probably use both the Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. But just for the fact that Gogeta pulls more from Goku's personality, while Vegito pulls more from Vegeta's, so I think that Vegeta would probably use the Ultra Ego better, and Gogeta would use the Ultra Instinct better. But I think that both of them could access both powers. So to conclude, Gogeta really will become the main fusion in Dragon Ball Super, and with that we should see variations of it, like the dreamed fusion of Goku with Gohan, which could have happened in the Majin Buu saga, but Gohan ended up losing the earring, and so Goku had to do the fusion with Vegeta. And we know that the fusion of Goku and Gohan, which is Gokhan, would be insanely much more powerful than Vegito, and that's without a doubt. But this is thinking of Gohan with his maximum potential, because right now Vegito would definitely be stronger than Gohan, because Gohan still is not more powerful than Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue evolution, for example. Gohan can and indeed will surpass Vegeta's form and become stronger, but currently Vegeta is still above Gohan. And it's also worth remembering that according to Vegeta, he and Goku already reached their maximum of their physical abilities. And that's exactly why Vegeta is training his mind to use his ki in the most efficient way, just like Jiren does. And that's also why Goku and Vegeta are focusing on their own techniques and not on their power increases itself, which brings a lot more depth to Dragon Ball. Where in the past we would just see Goku train regular, get a new power, train regular, get a new power, and then right after that Vegeta would do the same thing. But now it's pretty different. Each warrior is following their own ideals of strength and their own morals and training in different ways. Gohan with his beast form and his divine Kaioshin ki, Piccolo with his orange form and the Namekian divine ki, Vegeta with his ultra ego that has the Hakaishin ki and the Saiyan divine ki, and then Goku with his ultra instinct with his Saiyan divine ki and the Angel's divine ki. The distribution of these powers is awesome, and that takes Dragon Ball to a whole new margin where we can see several different skill sets, not just the Kamehameha and the Final Flash. We'll be able to see Gohan with his new Kaioshin abilities, and we still have so much more to uncover with Goku's Ultra Instinct. So let me know in the comments, do you think that Gogeta will become the default fusion of Dragon Ball Super? And do you think that Gogeta is going to face Frieza? Leave your comments below, and before you go, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any Dragon Ball videos. Goku has always been a prodigy in fights and has achieved incredible powers with his training, even having divine power despite being considered a low-class warrior. Goku had already broken all of the parameters when he transformed into a Super Saiyan, since the one who should have transformed first, according to legend, was Prince Vegeta. But it didn't stop there, and Goku managed to surprise everyone with a power never seen before. That was his Super Saiyan 3 that shook all of the Z Fighters and made Vegeta admit that Goku was really a genius and was the only one capable of ending Kid Buu. So much so that in the movie Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods, when Goku arrives on Earth when Beerus is about to end it, everyone's impressed and excited that Goku's there, since his presence alone has become a reason for security for his friends. But when everyone thought that Goku would go on the attack, he says that he was going to make a wish to Shenlong to find out the information that Lord Beerus wanted. The whole meeting was actually very comical. If it's your first time here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, where we talk about Dragon Ball news, history, and fan theory. Not everything is about transformations for Goku, and he had to learn some techniques along the path, and one of the most important in Dragon Ball Z was clearly the Kaioken technique that he had learned from King Kai. And this technique was simply the most important part of Dragon Ball Z, along with the Genki Dama. The Kaioken was important for the simple fact of the multiplication power of the user. However, it does leave the user with no energy after its use, but it was enough to make Goku fight Vegeta and draw with the Prince of the Saiyans. It was incredible, and we saw how much Goku tried to get stronger, even in this fight against Vegeta. Goku also uses the Genki Dama and even makes Krillin play it against Vegeta. The techniques that Goku learned in the Saiyan saga were of great importance for the entire work, including Super, since the Kaioken technique was combined with the Divine Ki by Goku, which made his power rise beyond the capabilities as we saw in the fight against Hit. But what do I mean by all of this? Simple, the hidden power of Goku, and here you're going to understand what kind of power Kakarot has. In Dragon Ball Super, we had a new concept of Ki and transformation, and in this case, I'm talking about the Super Saiyan God, where it's a divine power of the Saiyans. Goku got this form by doing the ritual of the Super Saiyan God in the movie Dragon Ball Z, The Battle of Gods. With this form, Goku is able to fight with Beerus, not on par so much so because Beerus was holding back, but in terms of comparison, the Super Saiyan God is much, much more powerful than the Super Saiyan 3. As far as energy expenditure, it's not an advantageous transformation. With this implementation of the Super Saiyan God, we had another interesting form later that a lot of people think was unnecessary, but I disagree. The form was only poorly developed in the anime, since if you understand the concept of it, you'll see why it's an interesting one. Super Saiyan Blue is the Super Saiyan of the Super Saiyan God. So it sounds a little bit confusing, but just think of it as follows. The Super Saiyan God is the base form, and Super Saiyan Blue is the evolution. If you don't believe that, just review the movie and the anime again, since Goku himself says that Super Saiyan Blue was a Super Saiyan who transformed into a Super Saiyan God, but was still in the Super Saiyan form. It's so much that in the Dragon Ball Z Rebirth of Frieza, we saw a yellowish aura around the blue aura of Super Saiyan Blue. And if it comes to the hair, Goku in the Super Saiyan God, you'll notice that his hair is the same as the base form, and the Super Saiyan Blue is the same as the Super Saiyan. The difference being his hair changes to blue, which just goes to demonstrate what Akira meant by simplified transformations. The form may not change much aesthetically, but it is a concept that's very rich. We currently have the Ultra Instinct concept that despite being invented now in Dragon Ball Super, Goku already made the concepts of Ultra Instinct since the classic saga. The Ultra Instinct is a technique of the angels where the user has to have an empty mind and clear heart and focus completely on the fight, letting his body act on its own. Goku was the first mortal to achieve the complete Ultra Instinct, which even the gods of destruction struggle with, even with millions of years of training. So it does show that Goku is a prodigy and fighting genius. Now Goku with his Ultra Instinct managed to reach a level of his own where he uses the Omen form of Ultra Instinct in his own way and style without having to contain his emotions. This form is called the true Ultra Instinct, and Goku got it after finding out about his father Bardock, and that led to him accepting his Saiyan nature and harmonizing with his true self, which unleashed the true Ultra Instinct. It's his current form, but not the most powerful, since the complete Ultra Instinct is the form that has the true power of the Angel Technique. Though that one is not sustainable in battle, and he doesn't have the body to withstand its power for extended periods of time. Currently, Goku has to train a lot because of Frieza's new form, Frieza Black, which is now a real threat since Frieza's power is currently able to defeat Goku with his Ultra Instinct and Vegeta with his Ultra Ego with no effort, using only one blow. It was complete nonsense, but here's an interesting thing. Because Goku's Super Saiyan Blue is actually Super Saiyan 1 in the form of Super Saiyan God, so what about Super Saiyan Blue 2 or Super Saiyan Blue 3? This was a pretty intense question when Super Saiyan Blue was shown in early Dragon Ball Super. A lot of people were wondering if this was possible, and yes, I think it is. For those who are thinking that a Super Saiyan Blue 2 or 3 would not be so powerful, they're completely wrong, because in addition to being very powerful, since with each Saiyan transformation the user's power multiplies, we have the interesting thing called Natural Ultra Instinct. The Natural Ultra Instinct was shown at the beginning of the saga of the Granola Survivor arc, when Whis told Goku that he would have to avoid using the complete Ultra Instinct and only use it as a last resort. And so Whis suggested the Natural Ultra Instinct, where Goku could use it in its base form with no problem. In the fight against Granola and also the fight with Gas, Goku manages to use the Natural Ultra Instinct with Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. Yes, it's really a very interesting thing, and so it's worth remembering that Dragon Ball Super is now not focusing so much on brute power, and instead on technique, since Goku managed to overcome Gas with his true Ultra Instinct, something he had not achieved even with his complete Ultra Instinct. So going back to the reasoning, Goku with his Super Saiyan Blue 2 or 3 would have a great power, and it would spend a lot more energy, but we saw that as Goku trains, the energy expenditure decreases. I think that's mostly because his body learns how to handle the energy. Another transformation this happens with is the Super Saiyan 1 in the Cell Saga. Goku with the Natural Ultra Instinct together with the Super Saiyan Blue 2 could be an interesting way to face Frieza if he spends as much energy as complete Ultra Instinct. Goku will have to evolve his Ultra Instinct even more, but we're talking about an alternative way, like this as to True Ultra Instinct. Remembering that Goku's complete Ultra Instinct is the weakest among the angels, and so Goku still has a long way to go. Of course, he could do the same thing he did with his foreshadowing form, and merge with his Saiyan Instinct and Ultra to get a higher power with